Hey yes, Snackadoodles, it's Jackadoodles. My friends, if you have a struggling love-hate relationship with a developing tater-tot fan, this first story is for you. A matured man's experience in Off My Chest. Beginning less than a month ago, I am at a loss as to what to do with my wife's request. Are you familiar with the term hall pass? Yes, that thing that school students use to get permission to pee translate to banging without repercussions in the adult world. Like my god, and they say that kids ruin everything. Now you may think from this story that this is just a gateway drug of a story encouraging men to believe all women are unfaithful and just want to bang. But I bring this story to light because as it gets revealed to what sort of upgrade this alleged woman wants. Oh boy, let's begin. My wife and I have been married since 2001 and together since 1999. She is the most intelligent, thoughtful, caring, loyal person I know, and I have always thought of myself as fortunate to have met and married her. She is, even today, aesthetically beautiful, and men have told her this throughout our marriage, but she has always shot them down. Now, earlier this year, she was diagnosed with uterine cancer, stage 1, and had a full hysterectomy. I was never concerned about the cancer. It was diagnosed early, dealt with quickly, and she made a full recovery. Now, I took off time from work to look after her after the surgery, and all seemed well. There were some to be expected emotional instances on her part, and although I am not an emotional person, we dealt with them together. After her recovery, she was insistent that we start living life to the fullest and took a 10-day trip to Europe, followed by a trip to Belize. We also have a trip to the UK and Spain and Portugal later this year. Now, I am fine with these things, building memories and crossing bucket list adventures off her and our list. Now, I also understand that these are a result of feeling fragile on her part. She also took up yoga, swimming, and healthy cooking classes. I was fully on board until last week. Last week, she came home from work and told me she wanted a hall pass, a one-time opportunity for her to sleep with someone else besides me. She said that since her cancer diagnosis, her outlook on life has changed, and she doesn't want to be handcuffed from doing things she wants to do. I mean, the minute you refer to your content monogamous relationship as being handcuffed, that's divorce. No, you can't backtrack from that sort of statement. She explained that there is this guy at her work that she has always had some attraction to. He is leaving the company and she will never see him again. So this is the perfect opportunity to sleep with someone else. And here's the kicker. She said that I could say no, of course, but that she would be mad and disappointed at you for an indeterminate amount of time and that it would be confirmation of your male toxicity and insecurity. Wow, look at this female Jonah Hill, just throwing therapy words at the other person to make them come across as the selfish a-hole. Like, goddamn, at least Jonah Hill said he was going to break up because of it, not saying you have to stay with me or else. Now, I don't consider myself to be toxic, and if not wanting your wife of 20 plus years to sleep with someone else is insecure, then, well, I guess I am insecure. I told her that I appreciated her talking to me about this, but approval via coercion is not approval. I also said that I do not appreciate her language in describing my, as of yet, unknown reaction to this very large issue that could affect the rest of our marriage and life. Now, don't worry, gang, because the wife, through the wise method of sleeping on it, returns in the morning to offer a solution to this problem. Yes, she genuinely believes this is the solution to this problem. I got up in the morning and she basically said that she was sorry for putting such a large decision solely on my shoulders and that to help, she was taking the decision away from me. She booked a hotel near where her coworkers are having a party or send-off for this guy, and she would spend the night there with him and hoped that I would be here when she got back, that she would answer any questions I have about the night after it happened, but not before. She will not tell me who he is or anything about him because I know you too well and that will dwell and you'll obsess over him, and that would make it too real for you, which is pretty accurate. Her point of view is that the less I know, the better, which contradicts the offer to tell me anything I want to know after it happened. Careful, mate, you're applying logic to this. That's the opposite of what she's doing. Now, I think she knows I won't want to know or ask anything, or she simply will not tell me. Part of me thinks at least she has been honest with me, and she has been through a lot since finding out she had cancer, so maybe I should just let it happen. I certainly have no concept of what she went through, so I cannot dismiss how this affected her mental state or outlook on life. Part of me wants to put my foot down and say this is not not going to happen and deal with those consequences when they happen. Now, her BFF called me callous for even suggesting that I wouldn't let it happen, because I have no idea what she went through. I just find it hard to believe that she is okay with the possibility of throwing away 20 plus years of marriage over some guy that she has had no relationship with outside of work, and that I should just call her bluff. Maybe she thinks similarly, and that I won't throw away the marriage because of one encounter. I just don't know what to do. I empathize with her, and then an instant later, I am angry with her. And part of me wants to know who this guy is. Like, what does he look like? What has he got that is so enthralling for her? Is he just a safe option? Is he married? Does his wife know? Would I be a callous a-hole for saying no? Like, what can I do besides walking away? Now to the most popular opinions. There's nothing wrong with sleeping with someone else. What does it matter? There is something wrong with lying, though. Yeah, you're right. You're so right. You were so smart. Others say, well, I can see her side of this. She didn't have control over her illness. She was bedridden and frail. Now she's developed very serious control issues and desire for hyper-independence. The experience also left her with a newfound desire for adventure and novelty. Then have those adventures with your husband. See, that's the most depressing thing for this guy to have to realize. If her idea of living life to the fullest is not with him, then what has their life been for the last 20 years? Now, we've probably been reading this and your thought has been, Jack, how the hell does this disprove any guys out there who think women are like monkey branching all the time trying to go for the next best thing? Well, that's where we come to the update. Man, if I was this guy, I wouldn't know if I'd rather be happy or mortified. So I was hoping that my opposition to her plans would give her pause, but unfortunately that did not happen. I said I am a hard no, and I am not sure how I feel about you if you go ahead with it. I was once again met with, "This is for me. It will be one time. What can I say to help you deal with it? You'll get over it. We were meant to be regardless of the situation," and other remarks leading up to Saturday. She left Saturday, ostensibly to meet her co-workers, but in reality to sleep with the guy. I asked her to text me when she was leaving for the bar, and when she did, I asked her if she was really going to go through with this. After her response, "I am not answering any more questions tonight. I will see you tomorrow," I blocked my wife. Then I did something either stupid or brilliant. I went to the bar where their get-together was happening. Well, not the bar, but a transit bench across the street. I waited for a long time. It was running through my mind, the leading up to this event, that I need to know who this guy was, maybe to compare myself against him, to see what he had that I do not. It was driving me crazy not knowing who he was or what was so special about him that she would ruin a marriage for. After what seemed like an eternity, a woman that I recognized from my wife's office left the bar and got in a cab. Soon, other people started filing out, and a whole group came out, and people were hugging a man and shaking his hand. I assumed that I had my guy. I didn't see my wife and had a brief thought that maybe she called it all off. I unblocked her, and there were no messages. Everyone said their goodbyes and left. Dude was standing outside for a few minutes, and then my wife came out. She looked around, took his hand, and started walking away together. Of all the emotions I went through, trepidation, sadness, anger, it was disgust that really encapsulated the event for me. This guy was short, fat, and bald. All the things I cannot compete with. Ultimately, I felt like a pervert for watching from a distance. I followed until they got to the hotel, and then turned around and went home. That's right, gentlemen who think women only want six-packs. Don't you see? That's outdated. No. Women go for the Shrek look now. It's all about that Shrek-thetic. Ooh, she's in his swamp now. I woke up Sunday morning and put a lock on the master bedroom door. I moved her things to the spare room and left a note asking her to find other accommodations as quickly as possible. I visited another friend who is a lawyer, and he gave me some sage advice and a couple of recommendations for divorce attorneys and made the introductions. My wife had been calling me numerous times since around 11 or so. Once blocked, the calls go to voicemail. So I listened to the first couple, but felt nothing but some satisfaction when she couldn't get through to me, and she was obviously becoming concerned. I didn't want to go home, but I left in such a hurry that I didn't plan an overnight properly. I got home around 9, and as per my buddy's advice, I recorded the interaction. I was halfway up the stairs when she came up from the family room asking what was going on. Could we talk? I thought we talked about this. I just answered with, I am not interested in discussing this tonight, and went to bed. After not getting a response from me through the door, she left me alone. I feel kind of like a child for not talking with her and shutting the door on her, but I just couldn't look at her. Monday, I got up and ready for work. She was waiting for me and asked if we could discuss getting back to normal. I said, "You have been doing all the talking for the both of us for the last week. Why don't you continue?" and left for work. I have an appointment with the attorneys my friend recommended for this week. So TLDR, she went ahead with it. I am actually more disgusted by who she chose than the smix itself, if that makes any sense. I asked her to find somewhere else to live. Ah, yes, that line. Final line is just so satisfying. But she was doing him a favor by taking such a hard choice out of his hand. The casual disregard for a life partner of 20 plus years is shocking.
I'm going to do this thing to betray you. I look forward to you getting over it.
That's not a relationship. That's not mutual respect and caring and understanding. Cancer sucks. There is no better way to put it. But it doesn't give you a pass to disregard the people in your life. If there's one thing to learn here, it's that toxic masculinity is not being comfortable with your partner of 20 plus years opening up the relationship and setting boundaries. Now to be fair, this wasn't opening up the relationship. This was just giving her an opening. Not for him, no. He didn't deal with cancer. He doesn't get that cancer card. In the end, it is still just, look, I feel it's kind of funny that the man she had been eager for was short, fat, and bald. It's not what you would expect. Usually these stories argue about someone who's just so much more sexier and richer and successful, but no, this was just her seeing this guy who was not going to be around anymore. It's like, hey, look, sweet, I'll ride that bicycle. I mean, if this woman wants an actual example of toxic masculinity, she needs to come over to this story. Beginning in Am I the A-hole, where apparently practicing some southern hospitality is insulting, but not to the person you're actually being nice to. Am I the a-hole for cooking food while my roommate's girlfriend was here and offering her some? I, 21 male, am from the South. I grew up in New Orleans and Texas. My mom runs a catering business and the majority of clients were either at home or in Louisiana or in Texas. I add this to say that I grew up cooking and helping my mom cook for the business. I was frying chicken and catfish when I could reach the stove and making gumbo and buttermilk biscuits at a very young age. I'm currently in culinary school right now. So I've lived in a rented house on the East Coast with my roommate, 22 male, for a year and a half. He's not a friend or anything. We just linked up because we both needed roommates in the area. He's good to live with and we watch shows and movies together. He hangs out and goes out for drinks sometimes. I always make friends easy because from being from the South and doing customer service related things since I was a kid, I know how to talk and charm and listen to folk despite being naturally more in the introverted spectrum. My roommate has been seeing his girlfriend, 20, for like 6 months. I've met her before and seen her in passing. Roommate and his girlfriend had a 2-week break from school things. Now, she still lives at her parents', so she decided to stay here the whole 2 weeks. I was just doing things as I would normally do. It got weird at first when I was about to go mow the lawn and the roommate stopped me and said he wanted to mow. I usually always mow. A couple of days later, I was outside washing my car. I asked both of them if they wanted me to do theirs. She looked like she was going to agree, but he looked at her angrily, so they declined. Can you see where this is going? I cook pretty frequently at home as well, and usually let my roommate have some. So anytime I'd make some, I would say that they could have some, and this would get him mad. Weeks prior, when she was here and we were all talking, she mentioned the specific kind of cheesecake that she really likes. So I made and sent out a group text that everyone could have it. My roommate got upset. I don't see anything as overstepping a boundary, as this is how I treat him and all guests. The other day, he told me how annoying it was to hear his girlfriend talk about how good my roommate can fresh bake bread. I'm not trying to make him look bad or anything. This is simply how I was raised. Just like that bread, eh? If I bake 2 loaves of bread, I'm gonna leave it out for the house to eat. Now, suspicious minds in the comments wondered why, of all things you could have made, you happened to make the thing she personally liked. It's one thing to make something you were making anyway and give some spares to your housemate, but to make what she likes, huh? Well, it turns out this is that strange, weird thing that those Southerners do, which is be nice? Ew. Yeah, the cheesecake is just a common courtesy type thing to me. When his parents came over, I made a pound cake because they like that. I mean, if a guest is coming, you get or make what they like. It's nothing odd about picking up their favorite chips or making some tea when guests arrive. That's just how I was raised. Ew, weird. You Southerners and your need to be considerate. Pfft, dumb. He goes on after this blew up. I just want to say we generally have a good roommate relationship. We're not best friends, but it's friendly enough. The only change has been when his girlfriend is here. So no, I'm not looking to find new roommates or be adopted or to move, but thanks. But for your sake, here are some more things that upset him. I went to the grocery store and asked if anyone needed anything. I was frying chicken and offered the first or best pieces out of the oil to them. I changed the oil to my own car. I used a smoker in the backyard to make brisket. I grilled and smoked in the backyard and needed a piece of wood to cut into a certain way to hold something up. I cut and nailed some wood together in the garage. It feels like I can't even exist while she is here. To which I have to say, what are you talking about, man? She doesn't have an issue with this. He does. He's the one who won't let you exist. Some argue that even if this is a case of insecurity, like clearly the other guy can't achieve the skill of culinariness and clearly feels inadequate as a result, yet you keep doing it in front of him anyway. Why don't you just leave them alone? You know what makes him uncomfortable, yet you keep and you don't leave them alone. Like, what's your problem? You already know by now that your roommate doesn't like you doing these things for them and in front of her, yet you keep doing them. Sure, it's a personal habit of yours, but maybe also try developing the habit of reading the room. But now I'm not too sure, but I think this is a popular opinion, not the a-hole. You are raising a bar he doesn't want raised by getting things done. He wants to pretend he is a better partner than he is. He also doesn't want you to highlight things he isn't interested in doing. In a way, you are unintentionally showing her that he isn't the best partner material around. Keep doing as you are. He is being ridiculous. Exactly what I thought. OB is raising the bar and Mr. Bare Minimum doesn't like it one bit. Now, I don't want to encourage the idea of calling this guy Mr. Bare Minimum. Sure, he can't cook like the OP can, but he's clearly very skilled at demanding to speak to the manager. That's a very useful partner to have if you're someone who's extremely shy. Now, it was just a few days later when the OP returned with an update. First sentence is kind of confusing. A lot of people wanted an update. I wanted to see my roommate in a more positive light. I tend to try to see the best in people, but reading the replies and his recent actions have opened my eyes. I never took him too seriously, because he's a pretty harmless little guy in my perspective. There is a big difference in how he lashes out at me compared to his girlfriend. He's gotten big tough with me in text form, but only mildly upset when I see him in person. I have taken a step back and looked at anything I could have done to provoke him, not excusing his behavior. And while I don't believe I am in the wrong for being hospitable and hosting as a guest, I mean, if a 75-year-old man was staying with us, I would treat him the same as I have treated his girlfriend. Look, I do realize that he is not from the South. I was told by others in school that women outside the South don't enjoy being called ma'am. However, I've never seen a lady get angry if I did call her ma'am up here. I call women of all ages dear or darling. Oh no. And I could see how that could be seen as flirtatious, even though it's just part of how I speak. But now that he knows I have seen him in his true form, he doesn't even try to act the way he did before. I sent his girlfriend screenshots of the texts he sent and told her the things he said. I'm not sure if she is leaving or staying, but I've let her know and told her to let me know if she needs any help. I don't plan on moving anytime soon, as I enjoy having room for a grill and smoker and a garage. He told me he's looking for new places to live and will potentially go back to his parents. I make enough working at a restaurant to afford the rent alone. I would like more going into savings, but I'm not worried financially for the time being. And just a final paragraph thanking everyone for their support, giving thanks to the mama, and thanks to the dad for instilling respect into the OP. He never felt emasculated, even when my mum's business ended up making more than he does. They just save their money from their jobs and go on vacation a lot. Wow, it's almost as if that's like what you're meant to do when you're in a relationship with someone. Like, wow, who would have fathomed that a partnership should be treated like a partnership? Seriously, good riddance. I hope this woman ditches this guy. He needs to learn that trying to pull others down around him isn't going to make him come across better. It's just going to highlight his worst features. Now, unfortunately, it's 10:48 p.m. here and I need my beauty sleep, so I'm going to end this video a little early. I apologize. Oh, but don't you worry, this next story coming up in the next video is definitely... oh, it's something. I'ma go nap. Love your face. I'll dream of you in my, dreams. Anyway, bye.